Today is celebratory. We're celebrating being 21. But it's very key. Someone has Benjamin and admit our children. We believe we are changing. One child at a time, the lives of our children and how society treats them, which is why we exist. And it's fantastic to be here with all the people who make it possible. Because every time I say the Nelson Mandela Children's Fund does 1, 2, 3, I do feel like a fraud. I feel like a fraud because ours is to facilitate. Ours is to get to the ground. Ours is to hand hope.
Tumela, Abshele, Sanibonyani, protocols observed, and universal greetings to all. Thank you for this opportunity to Nelson Mandela Children's Fund. It's been an incredible journey. As our chairperson has identified, I do work for the Teddy Bear Clinic for Abused Children. And as you may have noticed, I'm beginning to resemble a teddy bear because I've been there for 16 years, but in the field for more than 30 years, working with victims of child abuse. And we know that 1 in 3 girls and 1 in 4 boys are likely to be victims of abuse before the age of 10, and only 1 in 9 cases are actually even reported. So I need, I wouldn't like to just even continue in that direction, but just to pick up on what our learned budding CEO said about Dipswood and about judging and the stereotypes we cast. Nothing is what it seems. And if we unpack those layers behind those bad children and mad children, they are usually very sad children. So our journey with Nelson Mandela Children's Fund took us to the beautiful outskirts of Eastern Cape with Shaida and Eunice, the most fabulous ladies and employees of the NMCF Fund. We went there because as the challenges with children are that children don't have a voice. The silence is sealed. And if we go into the rural areas, there's lots of traditions, cultures, which are deeply embedded. We found that the tribal leaders, the tribal chiefs, were resolving things internally. There was compensation. So these cases were not getting to court. A lot of them were victims of physical abuse, emotional abuse, and even sexual abuse. A lot of incest cases. So with Mandela Children's Fund, we found that there wasn't any resource available to ensure that children were enabled, equipped, and given the opportunity to tell their story in court, to actually get closure. Yes, the first prize would have been always to get a conviction, but it's not just about a conviction. It's breaking that silence. It's enabling them. It's a disabled child. We enable that disabled child and the family. And I think that was our objective, to go out there. And we went out to train people, paralegals. 40 paralegals were trained to reach out to these families, to equip them, to train them, to empower them, to tell their story, not to teach them what to say, but to say it as it happened. And for us, I think that was the greatest achievement. There were many challenges because in Gauteng, we've got access to court facilities. There we had to negotiate where could they actually go and do their role plays to enable them to go into a courtroom and identify who's who in the zoo. If we sit around and look around here, how many of you have been into a courtroom just by a show of hands. And your experiences, being an expert witness for many years, it's always anxiety-provoking to go and stand up in court. It's very unfriendly, and it's not geared for children. So for a child to actually go up and stand there, and very often come face to face, either with the perpetrator or with the perpetrator's family, is secondary victimization, further trauma to the child. And this was our opportunity to negotiate, to ensure that we could get court facilities, get training. So we trained the paralegals, we had a prosecutor on board, and we were a group of 4 people who went to this most beautiful, unspoiled part of the country. But what was humbling was to see 5-year-old children commuting distances, lifting their socks and shoes, putting their books on their heads, walking through rivers, walking through the lagoons to get to school, to educate themselves. But also those same children and families coming to the court preparation, because after we did the training, we also did mentorship, follow-up, supervision of the files to ensure that they were being equipped and able to deliver what the initial objective was. And I think on a lighter note, I want to say, in the journey to Lutsikisiki, I also learned about anacondas, about snakes. And my dear friend Shaida educated me on snakes, because if you don't know, she's a snake lover. But I'm not going to detain you much longer. I just want to say that something about the Mandela Children's Fund. It's been an absolutely excellent partnership. If we look at efficiency, delivery, accessibility and availability, it's been very, very pleasing, satisfying and fulfilling to have a partner of this nature. So thank you. I would just like to say Siyabonga, and aligning ourselves to the vision. I'm going to end on a note, Umuntu, Umuntu, Ingabantu.